Hey everybody, welcome, happy Sunday. I hope you're all doing well today. It is an absolutely beautiful day here in Richmond, Virginia, and I just hope that you're enjoying it as best you can, getting some sun and just soaking up that vitamin D. We are on day 4 of our mini-series of making dances using improvisational tools, yes, and choreographic compositional concepts to build dances. Don't worry if you've never danced or created a dance before in your life. That's totally fine. We're all in this together. This was my first IG Live little series, and so I'm really excited to be experimenting, just like you're going to be experimenting in making dances and accessing your body and trying to find new ways of exploring not only your internal spaces but your external spaces and the spaces within your home, especially being sort of confined, contained. How is it we can see our spaces differently? How can we see our lives differently? And how can we sort of engage in the creative process to find greater courage to deal with these kind of things in our time? So yes, I'm so excited that you're here with me again today. And if you missed it, yeah, day 1 was about using improvisational skills for movement generation, yes, or sort of developing and figuring out, well, how do I make movement? How do I create movement to start making dances in the first place? We started in the kitchen, and we basically took the task of building, yeah, or creating, making scrambled eggs, and turned that into a phrase sequencing. So hopefully, if you didn't get that, that'll be, or is on YouTube actually right now. And then the next day, we went into the living room, and we started finding and exploring space, what that meant, yes, high space, middle space, low space, suspended space, yes, or finding the spaces within, yeah, carving and moving into and out of negative and or, yes, what I like to call it is potential space, where many things, many magical things can be happening and going on, many mini theaters, if you will, happening. Then yesterday, our third day, we took it into the dining room and we looked at, in terms of time, yes, how we subdivided time, how dancers use time, counts, and how we use that as a tool to find a variance of dynamic and qualities. And so today we end up in the bathroom. Now notice the first 3 days were in more communal spaces, and here I decided to choose the bathroom as the last day, one, so that you're more comfortable moving and working together with me, and then also just opening up more private spaces, which also means opening up more private spaces for us internally and finding ourselves digging a little bit deeper in terms of making movement, making material, and making dances. So it's no coincidence that we planned this way and that we're ending up here. The other thing that I want to bring up about the bathroom is we usually use the bathroom in the beginning of the day in terms of our morning rituals when we're getting ready, yes, and then also at the end of the day, yes, it sort of lets us access our evening bedtime ritual and do a lot of what I like to call cleansing, yes, or clearing. And so what is it that you're working with on clearing or cleansing or getting rid of or letting go in this time? Yes, so we're absorbing all this information, this material, we're discovering our creative process. And what are you finding out about yourself? What are you discovering about who you are as a creative being? We're all, as human beings, creative. Yes, some of us might not think we are, but we actually are. We're all dancers. We all move every single day. And so that's what this little mini-series was about, is trying to find out maybe who we are as movers, who we are as dancers, and that we all can dance. Everyone can dance, regardless, yes? We can also dance in all kinds of different spaces, hence the bathroom, right? Now, this space in particular is a little challenging, right? We have a choreographic challenge for ourselves, which is actually a really good thing because it's much smaller. This is a half bath, yeah, for me. And so what you'll notice is there's not a lot of room to move, so to speak. But this is where today's concepts of, yes, finding energy or elements of energy are going to help us redefine, yes, or work in our sort of confined spaces. All right, we're going to do 6 elements today, and the first element is sustained, yes, and so we're going to sort of practice those kind of things before we put it together and we sort of play and whatnot. So sustained movement. We talked about sort of moving through time in a sort of sustained way yesterday. We are continuing to move. Yes, it's sustained and or lyrical or continual constant movement through space. No real change in dynamic or quality, but very fluid and very, yeah, sinuous at times, but also continually finding a relationship with extending and opening up time, moving through time like we talked about yesterday, and finding that type of quality. So it has a nice sustained movement to it. So why don't you do me a favor, if you hadn't already started playing with me already, if you're sitting down or you're standing or you're in your own bathroom, go to your bathroom, find yourself exploring in there. What kind of movements, happen in the bathroom? Yes, you do a lot of washing of the face. Yes, that's a lot of sustained movement. It's continuing to find, that continual. How do you dry your hands? Are you drying your hands? Yes, you don't really use any other. Wash your hands. We've been washing our hands. It's sustained movement. No real sharp changes, right? So that's sustained movement, lyrical movement, continuous, never-ending sort of cycling, circling of movement. Then we go into something, it's a contrast. Yes, we go into percussive. Yes, something sharp. We're working at cutting time. Yes, finding our differentiations. Spoking, as Judy Steele always says. Yes, finding that nice reach, a percussive change, hit, boom. We sort of accentuate movement. Yes, we accentuate movement with percussive. So take a moment to just find some percussive movements for yourself. They can be gestures. You can just use your hand. Hands chopping, that's a percussive movement. Moving, hitting, stopping, eat, stop, start, yes, as we kind of build our way through a different type of energy. So let's go and review those two energies that we were talking about. So we've got this nice, move it with me, sustained, yes, almost Tai Chi-esque, Qigong, where we're really finding a continuous cycling of energy and movement, and I'm moving through. And then now let's quickly change it to a percussive, Remember when we were cracking the eggs the other day? Boom, boom, finding out, chi, chop, percussive, hit, jump. Jumps can be percussive, yes? So we got the first two, and they sort of work together in a way of accenting or shading one another. Yes, finding a way, nice relationships with those two things. Now we're going to go into vibratory. So we got that nice percussive or staccato, yes, punch action. How do we find that vibrating? How do we find the movement in our hands? If you're just shaking your hands, shaking your head, and finding the vibratory, yes, finding the shift, finding a nice shake. Shake. How do we do that stirring that we talked about? How do we make it vibratory? Yes, much quicker. Whisking, vibrating, finding that. So, 3. We're up to 3 now. We've got sustained, we've got percussive, and we've got vibratory. Let's go into some other accentuating. Yes, suspend. How do we suspend? We're going to find that moment of up, high, lift, and then a break and a drop. So these two kind of work together. We've got a suspension and a collapse. Or a suspension, we'll do a little release, releasing and collapsing to the floor. So those work together, again, two dualistic energies, yes, two oppositional energies of suspend and reach and release and collapse, yes. And what's interesting about these energies, these elements, is that they give you different qualities. We talked about qualitative variance, yes, yesterday. And that way movement doesn't become sort of flat or two-dimensional. You're riding these hills and valleys, these waves as you kind of move through your dance making. Maybe you're going to be making dances and you're finding like, I need a subtle change here. Well, maybe there's just a drop and a collapse, yes, that you can insert. I like to think of making dances as just problem solving and just finding like inserts. What do I need right now? Or like you're cooking, what kind of spices added? Do I need to get the heat up a little bit to find a little more flavor? Yes? So the last one is swing. The 6th element is swing. All right, we do this a lot in our technique classes. We use swing as a way of feeling that round energy in space. So you're feeling an undulation. And we used this as a triple yesterday, those 1, 2, 3s. So let's use the counting and the time element, yes, to kind of help find that swing. And I'm going to sort of face a little diagonal so you can just feel. I'm just going to do a swing, do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Do that with me. Just swipe your arms from side to side. Hip, hip, hip. Arm over the top and swing. Do it again. Hip, So you're really giving this weight, this catch, this carry. Yes, it's really, really beautiful. Yes, and again, we talked about it as a very round or fluid. So all these 6 elements of energy are really interrelated in some different way, or can help us to shade our movement and our material to make sense of our spaces. Does that make sense? I hope so. So let's do a review and then sort of get on with a little play as we do it. And then I'll play with, as I've been doing, getting to the end of our sequence, in an improvisation, and using, and since today is the last day, we're going to carry all those elements in, and you'll be able to see how many things you can recognize from our 4 days together, and then also see how you're exploring and experiencing the art of making dances as well. All right, so let's review the 6. First one, what is it? Sustained, really sustained movement, really feeling the fluidity, that easy, continuous, never-ending cycling. And then we had a contrasting concept for the second one. It was 2, 2, chit, hit, ha, ha, cha, cha, hit, ha, ha, pa, ha, ha, ha. And then the ha, ha can get faster. We can kind of do a vibratory. Shaking, 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 shaking. And then we suspend and release. And then we find ourselves coming to standing, and then we got the 1. Yeah? So we have qualities. We're finding and accessing all different kind of qualities in our space, in our material, and in our information. So let's just review some of the stuff that we've done over the last 4 days so that you can recognize it in this improvisation that I'm about to do. And you can be like, oh, there's where the movement came from for, the kitchen dance, when we were building and finding our material for, reaching, moving through space. When we get to the space, how do we shrink or compress? How is he working with shrinking and compressing space? Even in an already compressed space that we're doing here, how are we still playing with that boundary, of that frame of space? And then time, notice how we're using time, especially in relationship to the Conscious Pilot Robbie Kinter music, that we're working with today. And then also, accessing, okay, there he's using, suspended, there he's using percussive, there he's using, vibratory, there he's using sustained, and there he's using collapse. He's released to the floor. Or now that's a swing. It feels like a swing to it. So look and see what you're doing with that, and let's explore. So the movement that we started with, I don't know if you remember, 4 days ago, we started with that wah, di, ha, di, ah, di, ba, ba, di, crack, ga, stir, 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 So we shifted, shift, and then we find that same development when we were on the floor in the space where we did the walking with our hands, We did the reaching out into the space. We did the break, And we could turn that into a vibratory if we wanted, And then we did the shift, so that we're compressing that space. Then we went into time, playing with the triplet, turning into the 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2. So different qualities, So now here we are in our bathroom. So again, let's go back to that idea of, folding in a concept of letting go, releasing after cleansing, asking ourselves, what are we able to let go of? What do we need? What little do we need in this time? And what can we let go of? And just see if you can feel some kind of through line or connection of concept, all these compositional ideas and whatnot as we move through. So let me get the sound. Again, I introduce you to Robbie Kinter, who is part of Conscious Pilot, and this particular work is called Resolution. Again, an appropriate song for our last day together. So we're resolving and we're letting go, but not without reflecting and not without sort of appreciating or finding gratitude for the joy of art making. All right, so I'm gonna cue the music and we'll get ready to go. everybody. Thanks for spending your last 4 days with me, discovering movement, improvisation, composition, and dance making. Yeah, I look forward to hopefully seeing some of your stuff, yes, out and about as you share your dances. And hopefully some of this information might have helped you with unsticking some energy, yes, getting yourself moving, reframing your perspective, reframing your lens, and hopefully give you a little bit of joy at this time. Be well, be safe, and be happy. And most importantly, keep making. Make. Yeah? Be well. Yeah? Have a good time. We'll see you later.